Murder is the charge against an aspiring rapper accused of living the thug life. Fox 5's Lisa Evers live in downtown Brooklyn outside the courthouse where the suspect took the stand today. Lisa.
Well, Steve, a very dramatic day here. I was in the courtroom as this accused Bloods gang leader and rapper on the rise tried to counter the government's claims that he's a killer drug lord who terrorized his own community. 32-year-old Ronald Heron, known as Rod Diggs, portrays the gritty lifestyle of the streets in his music videos. The aspiring rapper, with a long rap sheet of drug and weapons charges, tried to convince a jury that he gave up gangbanging for the murderous Mad Dog Bloods to focus on his music after his last prison term. His childhood friend Shanduk McFadder says prosecutors are smearing Heron with stereotypes and circumstantial evidence.
The music is basically us talking about the life that we come from, not necessarily saying this is what I did. You know, this is a very intelligent man, and this is not a man who would commit all these crimes and didn't tell you for you to use it against him.
Inside the Brooklyn Federal Courthouse, prosecutors painted a very different picture with a 23-count indictment. They allege that Heron is guilty of racketeering charges for running a drug-dealing operation in the Gowanus housing development where he grew up. They also claim he was involved in 3 murders and 3 attempted murders and introduced his music videos as evidence. Fox News legal analyst Arthur Idala has this take.
The music videos in and of themselves and the lyrics in and of themselves would never be proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But could it be something that a jury takes into consideration when they're weighing the credibility of other witnesses or weighing the credibility of other evidence? Absolutely.
Now, the final verdict will, of course, rest with a jury. It was very hard to gauge what the reaction was to what they're hearing, but there is a lot riding on their verdict because if Heron is found guilty, he'll be facing life behind bars.
What's good, y'all? What's the Numbers TV? It's your boy, Paul Rowe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like a video if you appreciate the content that Paul Rowe and What's the Numbers I providing. Today we back with another profile piece. This one is on Rod Diggs, real name Ronald Heron, out of Brooklyn, New York, Gowanus Projects. In this video, we'll take a look at his early life growing up in Brooklyn, his multiple stints in and out of prison being a known gang member. We'll also take a look at his flourishing rap career that was cut short due to being charged with a bunch of different crimes that he was ultimately convicted of and is currently serving multiple life sentences in prison at the moment. So Rod Diggs didn't have it easy growing up. Living in the projects in New York City during the 90s with drug-addicted parents would be rough for any kid, but that was Rod Diggs' reality as a youth. And unfortunately, by 13 years old, he was arrested and sent to an upstate juvenile detention center where he became a member of the Blood Street Gang. After being released at the age of 16, Rod Diggs returned to the projects and started selling drugs after receiving some tips and guidance from his older cousins who were already dealing in the neighborhood. But when a beef with a gang from the nearby Wyckoff project kicks off, Rod Diggs is forced to hide out after learning that the police are looking for him in regards to a shooting. Eventually he is caught, charged, and sent to Rikers Island C-74 where they house adolescents. Known as a gladiator school for teens, is where Rod Diggs started to establish himself more in the Bloods gang, particularly his murderous Mad Dog set. 14 months later, after his case gets dismissed, Rod Diggs leaves Rikers Island and returns to Brooklyn in May of 2000. After learning his mother has been evicted from her apartment in the projects, he now finds himself homeless. In the fall of 2000, Rod Diggs gets into an argument with a friend from jail that owes him money. It turns physical, and after getting beat up pretty good, the friend pulls out a gun and shoots Rod Diggs in the leg. 2 days later, he is killed while Rod Diggs lays in a hospital bed. In 2001, in an unrelated case, Rod Diggs is arrested on second-degree murder and drug charges. Eventually, he goes to trial on those charges and is acquitted of the murder, but pleads guilty to the drug charges and receives 6 years in prison. It's during that time that he focuses on music and decides to pursue a career as a rap artist once he is released. And that's what he sets out to do in 2007 when he walks out of prison. So as he jumps into the music game, the feds say he also jumps back into the drug game and Gowanus Projects. And by May of 2008, the feds say he starts killing rivals in his competition in the drug game. The first killing being Richard Russo, who was shot in the head while in an elevator in Gowanus Projects. Next, they say Rod Diggs, after trying to expand to Wyckoff houses, shoots and kills Victor Zapata after he learns that Victor ordered the shooting of one of his lieutenants for selling drugs in Wyckoff Projects. Now, while all this is going on in the streets, Rod Diggs during the same time is able to start building a nice buzz on the hip-hop scene in New York City. After dropping mixtapes and videos on his own, he starts gaining interest in certain music circles and links up with Uncle Murder and Waka Flocka to form a group called the Murder Team. They film a video for a song called Live by the Gun with all 3 of them writing Gowanus Projects during the summer of 2010. But the momentum musically is only short-lived because in October of 2010, Rod Diggs is federally indicted on drug charges for his operation he was said to be running in the projects. Then in February of 2012, he is indicted again on 3 murders, the 2 mentioned earlier, plus the one he beat at trial. They decided to retry the case on the federal level. Eventually he goes to trial and is again found guilty on 21 federal charges and is sentenced to 12 life terms plus 105 years. Since receiving all that time, Rod Diggs has been sent to ADX in Florence, Colorado to serve out his sentence. The prison he's currently at houses some of the most notorious criminals from all over the world that have been convicted of crimes in the United States. He's still a popular figure on the internet, as multiple pictures of him doing his time have came out on YouTube and Instagram and things like that. He's still talked about by a lot of people, especially in New York City, who know Rod Diggs or who know of Rod Diggs, and is looked at as a classic case of what could have been if he was able to stay home, stay free, and just pursue his music career. But yo, this is an updated profile piece on Rod Diggs, who's currently serving life in the federal prison system, whose life right now is looked at as a learning experience for the youth. You know, at the end of the day, he isn't a rat. He didn't tell nobody. He took his time like a man. He lived the life he lived. He chose to live. And right now he's dealing with the consequences. Hope you guys appreciate the content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Go follow the live streaming clips channel. Follow the Instagram. And on that note, man, it's Polo. It's What's the Numbers TV. I'll be back before you know it, man. I'm out of here. Peace.